And welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Tuesday edition. Paul joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, as always, the best executive producer in the game. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, a bunch of different places that you can watch this show on. We're at 904 subscribers, chasing down 1,000 for the start of the regular season. 2 weeks left. Jack, do you think we get there?
Oh, absolutely. I say we're a big minus number to achieve that goal.
Minus number? Ziggy, do you agree? Minus number to get to 1,000 by the start of the season?
We need the fellas.
No. A sports book wouldn't even offer the odds at such a lot.
Really?
It's like when Alabama plays the Citadel and they just close down the money line betting. Like there's a spread, but
Yeah, like they're
money line you don't
49-point
open
favorites.
that.
You just reminded me. Vanderbilt minus 17 this weekend against Hawaii was a tragic loss for all Vanderbilt bettors. You got screwed. This Hawaii Vanderbilt game, never again. I'm just off it forever.
I got backdoored.
I can't believe I'm back in the college football betting world, and it's just immediately bashed
Stay
to
out,
the ground.
Paul.
It's a
Stay
bad
out.
world. We thank you so much for listening, wherever you are listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this show. Follow us on all platforms at Paul Farrington Show. Best thing you can do, share with a friend. Send it over to a friend and say, hey, these guys are idiots. Or
A brother.
these
a
guys
sister,
are smart. Whatever adjective you want to use.
a grandma, a cousin, an uncle, an aunt.
Anyone. So we have a
Anyone,
great
please.
show. We have actually a really fun show today. At the end of the show, we'll be talking fantasy football. Ziggy will grade the drafts, the first 5 rounds in the draft me, Jack, and Zach held just this past weekend. And I tell you, Zach had a very questionable second and third round. It's
I'd say questionable draft overall.
Oh, people are talking about this being one of the worst fantasy teams.
I'd say questionable draft overall.
But
Hey, you never know. I mean, it could be.
We talk about this.
But it could be good. It could be a good team. Never know.
So Ziggy will be grading our picks in the first 5 rounds, and it'll help you out because you'll be able to see what picks to make, like Jack and I, and what picks to avoid.
You just want to put it out there real quick. Real quick. I was a little silent there for a second, but I just want to put it out there. What happened, Jack, last year when you texted me when my team had 2 60-point back-to-back weeks? What did you text me?
I said your team stinks.
Yes, and then what happened to your team?
I didn't
No.
really-
What happened to
This is
your
last
team?
year.
What happened to your team?
New season.
No.
New
What,
season.
no. Please
New
tell the
season.
folks what happened to
New
your
season.
team. What happened to your team?
New season.
What happened?
New season.
Jack,
Let them know, Paul. What happened?
It's a new season.
Jack did come
What
in last.
Oh, it's crazy.
I
That's
didn't
crazy.
actually believe your team stunk last year. I was just trolling.
But
This year you stink.
well, here's the thing. Ziggy will be the judge of that. Ziggy will judge this,
and the fans.
and the fans. You can weigh in. We also have AFC and NFC North quarterbacks under the most pressure. Me, Jack, and Ziggy will be pitted against each other with a minute each to convince Zach why one of the quarterbacks in the AFC and NFC North is under the most pressure this season. And Zach says not a second over 1 minute.
We need a 10-second warning, though.
A 10-second warning
10-second
would be
warning.
appreciated.
I don't. I'm built different.
Well, Ziggy, I mean, it's your job.
Well,
you're
yes,
a
this is what you do.
professional
It's-
debater.
You're a pro.
Me and Jack
It's
sometimes
not
struggle
quite
with
right,
words.
but-
You know, Ziggy also has to write a timer on his computer that we can't see.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no,
100%. I mean, it's brilliant.
No, I would do it too. If I
So
were.
would I. Absolutely.
But we're going to start today a quick, probably 5 to 8 minutes here on the preseason week 3. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they took on the Giants this past Saturday. Jack and I watched the game from the wonderful Fink's Restaurant in Suffern, New York. We are chowing down on some corn souffle. Cheesesteaks, delicious
lemonade.
stuff. But we look up and we say, oh, wow, here comes Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform. Looked kind of weird. He's still in green, but something felt off to it. But once they started playing, it was the same Aaron Rodgers to me. A lot of those classic, quick runs and jump off 1 foot, like quick throws. The takeaway I had, and let me know if you agree with this, Jack, I sort of regretted not taking Garrett Wilson in our fantasy draft because I think that this combination between Rodgers and Garrett Wilson could wind up being the best in the league by the end of the season. He's going to get 1 million targets.
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting there in Finks. I was enjoying my cheesesteak, looking over my team. Like, I got a pretty good squad. RB1 with to be named later. And then I took a receiver over Garrett Wilson.
Very questionable call.
And we're watching the game, and I wasn't, what was Rodgers? He was 5 of 8, 5 of 9.
5 of 8, 47 yards and a touchdown.
He looked good, but it was just, I felt like Wilson was targeted like 10 times on one drive and then caught a touchdown. So
it felt like
I was upset to pass on him.
What have we seen from Aaron Rodgers in his career before? When he's with Devontae Adams and the Packers, a lot of targets to the number 1 receiver and then dump offs. And that's kind of what you got a little bit in this sneak peek, just a sneak peek of preseason.
Oh, it's also preseason. But this could also be the worst thing in the world for Jets fans. Because now they see, oh, Garrett Wilson, he's targeted. He's the only guy on that team. Let's triple him. Let's double him. Let's not let him beat us.
I think he's good enough to take that on.
He's not AB.
Ziggy, let me ask you real quick.
I see potential bust alert.
This Garrett Wilson-Rodgers connection, we did our quarterback wide receiver duos going into the year, and I had from 6 to 1, Hurts Brown, Tua Tyreek, Stafford Kupp, Burrow Chase, Allen Diggs, Cousins Jefferson. How high up that list can you see Rodgers and Garrett Wilson finishing by the end of the year?
I think the absolute ceiling, you can't put it anything lower than number 1.
Uh-huh. There you
like
go.
the fact is, you're talking about a guy who everyone agrees is a top 10 wide receiver, maybe more. A guy everyone who agrees is a top 5 quarterback. I mean, because Mahomes doesn't have that elite receiver that he can throw the ball to, there's no one on Aaron Rodgers' level with a wide receiver like Garrett Wilson. And I mean, you saw it in the preseason game, right? Like, I get that it's preseason. We're not going against the best of the best, but that touchdown pass he threw was unreal.
Oh,
and Garrett Wilson was able to go up, get the ball, come down with it with a defender draped over.
And so I don't want to gas this up. Like, Rodgers played well. He played like Aaron Rodgers. But the first pass of the game, just a quick throw to Garrett Wilson, corners 10 yards off, pick up a first down.
Yeah, and you and I come on.
We looked at it, we're like, all right, this team might be doing something. But it kind of had that feeling for Jets fans, I'd imagine, kind of like I had for Notre Dame this weekend on Saturday, when watching Sam Hartman just complete a little 12-yard out route. Perfect pass to the sideline, getting first downs. It's something that we haven't seen for so long as Irish fans. Jets fans are probably watching that game saying, oh my God, this is what a quarterback looks like. And it's not that Rodgers did anything that spectacular. It's just when you get average to good quarterback play on these quarterback-starved franchises, it looks unbelievable, and it gives you hope. And that's really all we can ask for.
If Aaron Rodgers plays, say, 20% worse than his MVP season in 2021, he will be their best quarterback since those Brett Favre years.
He will probably be the best quarterback ever for the Jets if he plays 20% below that.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, Aaron Rodgers at an MVP level, what we've seen in the past is, you can argue, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
Yeah.
I mean, a fifth of what he can do there, that's the best Jets QB in the history of their franchise.
Let me ask you, Ziggy, moving on from Rodgers, because, again, small sample size, but you have to like what you saw if you were a Jets fan. The rookie quarterbacks, and we're just going to focus on Richardson, Stroud, and Bryce Young, as we've done throughout most of this preseason. Out of those 3, which one impressed you the most throughout the preseason, and who impressed you the least? So I guess just rank it 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so in terms of being impressive, right? That's the number you gave me.
Yep.
I would probably go Stroud, Richardson, Young. And I'll explain why. I think Richardson was the worst, but Stroud, I think, is the clear number 1 for the following reason. Bad offensive line, no weapons, dysfunctional offense, right? We saw what they looked like last year. And Stroud stepped in and improved every single game. The first outing was rough, right? People were already asking, is this a bad pick?
Absurd,
as if they don't know how the preseason works.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was under pressure all the time. And if you look at those quarterbacks under pressure, Stroud had far and away the best PFF grade under pressure. And you could just see, in the way he was playing, this is a guy who's not scared of taking hits. He's going to take some hits of the Texans this year. It's exciting to see him develop and improve over every single game. Why is Richardson at number 2, even though I think he was worse? His physical abilities were on display. He made some truly impressive throws. There's just a lot to be excited about. Even if he couldn't put it all together, he was bad under pressure. The offensive line didn't help him out much. And why is Young number 3? I mean, I think Bryce Young's good. I think he played quite well. I think he'll be good this year. But nothing he did stood out as particularly impressive. He did his job and he did it effectively. But he didn't have the wow factor of Anthony Richardson. And he didn't overcome the same kinds of circumstances Stroud did.
Okay, yeah, and I thought Bryce Young did a really nice job on Friday night against the Lions. Some of his escapability in the pocket. We said, or at least I said, one of the things I love about Bryce Young is having that sixth sense, that Patrick Mahomes kind of feel to him, Aaron Rodgers a bit, when you can just make a play out of nothing. And he did that a couple times scrambling against the Lions. I thought he looked the most consistent throughout the preseason. And you're totally right. CJ Stroud, each game as they went on, you're like, all right, wow, this guy is looking better and better. And I actually, by the last game against the Saints, started to get a little excited for what we could see from Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz, Dameon Pierce. It's not the most sexy roster that you could ever have in the world of skill position players, but there's some guys there that I'm excited to see what Nico Collins can become. Can John Mechie return from cancer and live up to some of the hype that he had? There's a lot, and Tank Dell's had an impressive training camp. I like what's going on in Houston at the moment. And I mean, Will Anderson too, just to mention that play he had, like running over the running back and getting the strip sack. I mean, this guy could be. That was 2 weeks ago.
I know. You know who it was against?
The Dolphins.
It was. But you know what happened on that play? I don't want to hear Will
miscommunication.
Anderson. Yeah.
Dude,
I don't want to hear Will Anderson.
I don't care.
Like came up and was like Aaron Donald.
That was
Excited
a fantastic play.
Excited me.
It wasn't fantastic.
Hey, Zach. If you were against a running back in that situation, how long is it taking you to sack the quarterback?
There we go.
Me?
Yeah.
Against a running back?
Yeah.
Take me forever. Have you seen Ahmed? Savon Ahmed? If he didn't have to look at that bad snap, if he didn't look up, Ahmed was taking him to the house.
Okay.
No, but this is my point. Is just like, I get that it's not particularly impressive at the NFL level, but you still have to be incredibly athletic, incredibly fast, incredibly strong to just blow open an NFL running back.
I think Jack does it. I think Jack does
get
it.
the strip sack.
I think Jack could do
You
it.
think I blow up Ahmed?
Yeah. If he does,
that's another day of the life.
I mean, that's just what I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you're right. Never mind. What am I saying?
One more thing on Anthony Richardson. He definitely did show off some of the traits that Colts fans wanted to see. I can't get it out of my head, and I like him. I'm really rooting for him. I can't get out of my head the concerns I have about his accuracy. And if Jonathan Taylor tomorrow, so Tuesday when this comes out, Jonathan Taylor, that's his deadline for getting a trade. If he does get dealt, I'm looking at that Colts roster right now, and there's not a lot to like in terms of what Anthony Richardson will be working with. It's Michael Pittman and then a bunch of big question marks. So I'm concerned. We know this is going to be an up and down season for the Colts with more downs than ups in all likelihood, but I'm a little concerned with how much he's going to progress through this season. Like, will it all be relying on his legs? He needs to progress as a passer by the end of the year for this to be a success. So that's the big question mark still for me.
I mean, you look at all these teams, Houston, Indianapolis, and Carolina with these rookie quarterbacks, the high picks. Obviously, the fans of these teams will be crazy to expect really anything. They're all pretty bad situations that they're coming into. But what I want to see as a fan of these teams is just, along the way, just steady improvement as the year goes on. Some really good things. Some flashes, like
Pickett
some
last
promises.
Year. Even though the Steelers were much better than these teams.
Sort of like Kenny Pickett. Yeah. Yes, just promising things that I can see, in a potential future quarterback.
Okay, fair.
Which I think I see some good qualities in every single one of them.
Yeah, like Richardson will make a throw that I go, wow, that on the money, what if dart. And then he'll miss someone who's wide open over his head. And I'm like, he got to get it consistent.
He came out against Philly. I think it was week 2 of the preseason. I could be wrong. Week 2 or week 3?
This week, yeah.
This past week.
3.
And the first drive, I think he started 0 for 3 with 3 abysmal passes.
Yeah, but then he'll come out and make a nice throw, and you're like, it's there. Just get it more consistent.
Right.
So.
He's 21 years old.
So there you go, Ziggy. That's an interesting ranking of the 1 through 3, but well explained. And the last thing in terms of the news, Trey Lance, we talked about him possibly going to the Vikings a couple episodes ago. Now he is dealt to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. Things came out Monday saying that Jerry Jones did not talk to Mike McCarthy or Dak Prescott about the trade. Kind of makes you wonder what's going on there. It's fun to start up these rumors and everything, but kind of bizarre, right, Ziggy, that you wouldn't talk to your quarterback or head coach about making a move for another quarterback, especially as high profile as Trey Lance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was surprised to see Trey Lance get traded. And Brandon Ayuk afterwards talking about it, he said that he saw Trey Lance and it looked like a weight was lifted off of Lance's shoulders after this trade happened. Like San Francisco he wasn't going to get it done there. But it surprised me the Cowboys traded for him. Now, pretty much like by the way trades work, the Cowboys offered more than any other team in the NFL for Trey Lance. Right? That's just like what it means to get Trey Lance there.
Yep.
And like you've got Dak Prescott. He's on a big deal, but there's no guaranteed money next year. He's consistently been a playoff disappointment. I don't think he's gone, but if you're Dak Prescott, I'm starting to feel that leash just a little bit. It's a little tighter. It's a little more tense. And if things go really bad this year, I could absolutely see McCarthy and Dak getting the door. It's not like Jerry Jones is known as a patient, sort of sagacious decision maker in Dallas. So it could definitely go bad quickly. And I think how Dak Prescott responds to that pressure is going to be really interesting.
Robert Ziegler throwing some kindling on that fire.
I mean, if I'm Dak, I do feel a little bit slighted that I wasn't spoken to about, my team trading for a quarterback when I'm obviously the clear-cut guy. I think what Ziggy's saying, I do agree with, is maybe to put a little bit of pressure on and make him feel that way. Like, this year, like, let me do something pretty big. Like, now I got a guy behind me who is a little more threatening than Cooper Rush.
And you like it if I'm a Cowboys fan too, as long as it doesn't disrupt the team, I'm fine with Trey Lance for a 4th round pick. Like, this guy can turn into anything.
4th round pick, yeah.
Yeah, like he's all the talent in the world. It's just a matter of getting it to go together. And if Dak could kind of take on that mentor role a little bit, it could be a nice situation for Trey to start over. But yeah, how much validity is there in the Trey Lance being a future of the Cowboys? Obviously he hasn't proven anything yet. There's a long way to go till we get to that route. But I think the leash is quite long still for Dak because this team is built to win a Super Bowl within the next couple of years, and the only way that happens is with Dak Prescott at quarterback. But it's definitely an eyebrow-raising decision from Jerry Jones not to talk about it, at least with McCarthy and Dak. It's just a little strange.
Well, what's kind of weird about this? So, like, as a backup quarterback, I think Lance makes some sense because Cooper Rush is the only other real quarterback on that roster. I think they cut Will Grier. If they didn't, they're about to. But what's the problem of Trey Lance? What has it been in San Francisco that stopped him from developing? Answer: he has not gotten to play any games. He has started 4 games for the 49ers. He's been paid like $30 million for those 4 games, but he's only started 4 games for them. He's not going to start starting games in Dallas unless like Dak Prescott breaks his leg. If Dak Prescott breaks his leg, he might still be better than Trey Lance.
And he also and he also has to beat out Cooper Rush too, which I don't know what the situation is. I haven't watched too much of Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush won a bunch of games last year. He won more games last year than Trey Lance has played in his NFL career.
So I don't know. It's tough to see Trey Lance having a route to starting anytime soon. But I like it for the Cowboys because why not? As long as it doesn't piss people off, which I'd be surprised.
The trade felt a little bit weird to me. It was a trade that didn't really.
The Vikings made sense. Like the Vikings have no backup quarterback really. It's Nick Mullins. It's just
like right.
And we could play Lance next year too.
Yeah, there's like a reasonable timeline where you could pass it over to Lance and just see if he has it. But
like to me, like Dallas making a trade for Lance would have been something like the Steelers trading for. It just doesn't make sense. Like you have your quarterback
who should be able to get you to or you're hoping can get you to a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Like what do you see if you're Dallas? Like we were talking about before, it's like if Dak is below average and they don't do what they want to do.
I think you'd have to suck. You'd have to be horrible to move on from Dak.
Yeah, why do you think that then Trey Lance comes in and he's the answer? That just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't know. You have to imagine Dak would be really, really bad to make a change.
For Lance. Yeah.
Shockingly bad.
Yeah.
If Dak Prescott recreates last year.
He'd have to get hurt. There's no other way.
Like if Dak recreates last season, there's no way that Dallas moves on from him. Even though he led the league in interceptions and everything, he still gives them the best chance to win a Super Bowl. Right? Am I wrong on that? Or
no, 100% right.
Okay.
Better than Trey Lance. I mean, I don't know. I also just sort of wonder. I think this trade still makes sense for Dallas.
I still like it.
I don't get what the 49ers are doing, right? Like Sam Darnold's there as a backup, but you've been cursed with quarterback health. We still Brock Purdy played 7 good games, but I don't think we have a big enough sample size to say he's automatically your franchise guy. You've already paid Lance millions of dollars for this year. It's not like his value is going to go down as the season goes on, right? Like quarterbacks get hurt, teams want guys. Like his value is already at an all-time low.
I mean, I
don't get the trade.
I'm guessing maybe it's for this year. I get what you're saying, but maybe it's all right. He's going into his 3rd year, probably not going to pick up the 5th year option. You get a 4th rounder for him now, probably better than what you could get for him next year if he's not starting again. Like maybe that's part of the decision. Also, just both of them wanting to move on and get out of the news with everything.
Sam Darnold had better be good if your quarterback who's coming off a UCL tear struggles a little bit.
Kyle Shanahan called him the best like pure passer ever that he's ever had or something like that. It was a great comment. I can't remember what it was.
I cannot wait until when TJ Watt gets a hold of that man.
Oh, it's
and in comes Sam Darnold.
I'm trying to figure out why like Atlanta and like the Bucs didn't trade for him.
No, I mean, if they offered a 4th round pick, it's better than the Cowboys 4th. They would have gotten. That's what I mean. The Cowboys paid more than every single team in the NFL.
Well, Jerry Jones,
I think at a certain point,
Jerry Jones is a little crazy, but he sometimes pays off.
Yeah, overall, it was just puzzling to me.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
no, I was just saying overall, it was just a little puzzling trade for me.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
At a certain point, I think you have to trust consensus of the crowds. The fact that basically, because a lot of NFL teams, thought about this, right? It's not often a number 3 overall pick quarterback is available pretty cheap. They all basically decided he was worth less than a late 4th. Yeah. That actually makes me more bearish about his future than anything else we've seen from him so far.
Ziggy out on Trey Lance. That's the headline.
I'm looking. Is he's relatively fast. You want to change up some schemes, bring him in at receiver, do some jet sweeps.
No, but wasn't he supposed to be like Richardson? Wasn't that the big hype around him?
He
was supposed to be like Anthony Richardson.
Not quite the running that Richardson's had hyped up, but he was supposed to be a great dual threat quarterback who could
nowhere near as like physically gifted either.
No, not the physical. Like Richardson's being talked about as the most athletic quarterback.
Richardson's like 6'4", like 2.
I don't think Richardson though. I'm not actually sold on him being as good a runner as a Fields or Lamar yet. As much as everyone wants to hype it up, I still need to see it before I believe it because those guys are just amazing
at the NFL level.
Yeah,
at the NFL level.
All right, let's get on to this AFC NFC North. We'll start with the NFC North here. We are each going to take one quarterback. So the way this worked was before the show, we were each assigned a quarterback. And we need to argue for 1 minute why they are under the most pressure this season. In the NFC North, Jack will be representing Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions. We'll start off with him. Zach, please let us know when 60 seconds is on the timer.
Yes.
I'd also like a 10-second warning. If it reaches 10 seconds.
You'll get nothing and like it.
And Ziggy has left the show.
Hey, sounds good. Ziggy's gone.
All right, so you have 1 minute to tell us why Jared Goff is under the most pressure in the NFL in 2023.
Wait, what's that from, Zach? You'll get nothing and like it. What is that from?
You'll get nothing and like it.
You'll get nothing and like it.
You'll get nothing and like it. You say that too.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know what that's from. That was from something.
You'll get nothing and like it, Spalding.
No idea. If you are in the comment section,
if you haven't heard of it. Yeah. It's from somewhere.
All right, 60 seconds. We got on the clock.
You ready?
Yep.
3,
born ready.
2, 1, go.
My man, Jared Goff. Pressure is on you in 2023, my friend. This is a starving Detroit Lions fan base who hasn't won a division since before it was even called the NFC North. But now you're the division favorites. You were the best team in football the last 7 or 8 weeks of last season. Fans are hyped. There's expectations. The roster is talented. You have a good receiving core. The weapons are there. You upgraded the defense. Now it's time, Detroit. You have to go make your move. Make this fan base proud. You're the favorites, and it all falls on the shoulders of Jared Goff. If you're not good, Detroit's not good. You have it all right in front of you. Now it's your time, Jared Goff. Go out there and get it.
Wow, I feel like I'm watching Miracle.
It's all on the shoulders of Jared Goff. How much time did I have left, Zach?
6 seconds.
Well done. That's nice.
No 10-second warning either. Like
no 10-second warning. Yeah, Zach he was leaving you out there to hang.
Well, he sounded like he was finishing, right?
Hey, I do what I do.
All right, that brings us to Robert Ziggy Ziegler, who will be representing Justin Fields with the Chicago Bears. Zach, on you.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Sid Luckman. That's the best quarterback the Bears franchise has ever had, besides a couple years of Smokin' Jay. Look, here's the facts. Justin Fields is not guaranteed a job next year. The fan base is hungry. They finally want someone to be good. The Lions, they're miserable. They got nothing going on. The Vikings have been to the playoffs recently. The Packers, their fan base has won some Super Bowls. The Bears haven't had anything. Justin Fields is supposed to be the guy, right? They've upgraded the offense around him. They're finally getting a decent defense together. And this year is his time to show he belongs in the NFL, right? Someone in his draft class, Trey Lance, already lost the job. Goodbye, see ya, career backup. If Justin Fields has a good year, hundreds of millions of dollars are going in his pocket. If he has a bad year, career backup, Bears fans miserable, DJ Moore miserable, the hope of Chicago dies out.
A buzzer beater.
This guy.
I was about to wave him off.
You see this?
I was about to wave him
you
off.
see that guy? He knew how much. He knew how much time he had.
He gave me a 10-second warning.
No, I know. I'm saying that was brilliant with holding for the Chicago
I needed the
line.
warning. I was going to go too short.
You
I was going to go
teased
too
us- you
short.
teased
He
us a
saved
bit.
me.
He held the Chicago line for a second, then
he
got
teased
in.
us.
At
I was
the
about to
buzzer.
wave
It was
him off like
beautiful.
that.
Oh, that was very well done.
Oh, we'll turn on.
Man, I forgot about the money. Let's relax here.
My bad.
Okay.
No, I mean, like if he has a good year, hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm just repeating something they already said. Like, y'all hear.
Zach said enough. I
There's
agree
no
with you.
talking
Ziggy.
after.
Great. That was a great point.
Good point. Good stuff.
We're not going over like Paul did, trying to cheat last week.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you talking about last week?
I will be taking Kirk Cousins in this situation. So Zach, tell me. Shocker. But hey,
They call me the captain.
Captain Kirk.
They call me the captain.
Kirk. You let me know when I'm good.
I did
to go.
start man of franchise by the way with Atkins today. Kirk Cousins is my quarterback.
Reliable consistency.
He sucks.
Reliable consistency.
He's this man
All
right
right,
here.
yeah, Superman.
All right, you ready?
He is Superman.
2, 1, go.
All right. Captain Kirk, pressure in two ways this season. One of them, just turned 35 years old. Super Bowl chances starting to dwindle for the captain. And for the Vikings this season, that defense is just not good enough. Unless Brian Flores is an absolute magician, it all falls on Kirk Cousins to carry this team back to the playoffs. He's going to have to be unbelievable for them just to get into a wild card, let alone win the division. So I'm expecting a lot there from Kirk, a lot of pressure. Also, for the first time in his career with the Vikings, he's not under contract next season. So Kirk is playing for one more big deal before he walks away, or at least one more season with Minnesota and a chance to compete, because he wanted 2025. They didn't give it to him. He has no deal. Basically, it sums up to this. Financially for Kirk and competitively for Kirk, he needs to play like Superman for this team to have a chance at the playoffs and for him to get some more money in his pocket. It'll be tough.
2 seconds left on the clock.
Good job, Paul.
Leave those
Right on
2
cue.
seconds. Well, left those 2
Right on
seconds,
cue.
though. I mean, that's Ziggy made a money statement with 2 seconds
He
left.
did.
All right, Zach, so you heard all three arguments. Jack with Goff, Ziggy with Justin Fields, and me with Kirk Cousins. Who convinced you?
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please.
Some might say Ziggy convinced me. Some might say Paul convinced me. But I do have to give it to Ziggy.
I love Ziggy's. The money statement that Ziggy made at the end, I was like, damn, he's right.
He took it to the buzzer.
It's like, damn, he's right.
No,
Justin
like,
Fields
Kirk's
could get
rich.
a ton of money.
Goff's rich. Like, I get that Justin Fields is rich, right? But like, you see the contracts these guys are signing. Legitimately, if he's like a Lamar Jackson-esque season, $300 million is on the table.
You know, that's the deciding
crazy.
factor.
It's
like,
crazy.
These guys like Kirk and Goff, they've played, they're older, they have their money.
But the pressure is on them to. Well,
Oh,
actually,
no question.
for
Money's
sure.
not the only thing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Goff's like,
But-
what, 29 or something? He's still.
But I
he's
feel like
under 30.
I feel like both of those, like Goff and Kirk, have already been to this pressure before. Like when he was when
have, but
Goff was a
it's-
Ram, right? It was
Yeah.
do or die there. Kirk's been do or die
I
for
get
the
what
last.
Jack's saying though. Like 1993.
That was
That's
the last division
time.
title. Now you're favored to win it.
Like you said, they never won. They haven't won the NFC North.
but like,
Yeah.
if he's
Well, here's
like,
the
if-
thing.
Yeah, but is all
Goff's
the
not
weight
good.
on Goff though? Is that
No,
just the
but
franchise?
here's the thing for
slow.
Goff, though,
If
right?
Goff
Like, if
stinks,
Goff,
they're-
yeah.
Go
They're
ahead,
not
Ziggy.
gonna be.
If Goff puts together a great, like, what does everyone say about Goff? He's carried by the system. He might be the most disrespected 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback in NFL history. If he puts the Lions on a run, his legacy is like the guy who brought playoff success to Detroit. If it doesn't, it's he was a carried system.
Well,
poser.
hey, you talk about money too. If Jared Goff has another good season or two with the Lions, I don't know.
They
what his
have
current,
to extend
I don't know
him.
what his current contract is, but you
I
could
think-
be looking at a big deal for Jared Goff. If Detroit goes on a run to the divisional round or something like that,
I mean, the pieces
It's-
to win
it's
the
there.
North like are all there. And what's the most important position on a football field is your quarterback.
if their defense is, people are expecting the defense to be probably slightly below average right now, which is a huge step
good enough
from
to
where it
win the-
was
yeah.
at one point last season. Yeah, with the rest of this division. And we could touch on just for a second. Jordan Love, we all feel like he's under pressure this year, but the leash is long. You really have this whole season to work out kinks. As long as he's progressing by the end of the year and you're confident heading into his, I believe, his 5th year next season, that he could be a starter, that's when you really will have some increased pressure on Jordan Love. This year, to start the season at least, like he has a long leash.
It's similar to what I said before to me about those rookie quarterbacks like AR and Stroud and Bryce. Packers turns me nuts to expect a whole lot.
If he's horrible, if he comes out and is just terrible, there's a chance that they could look in a different direction. But I don't. As long as he's not horrible, he has a pretty.
Yeah, you want to see some good things. You want to see him win some games.
All right, so Ziggy wins that.
Real quick, I just have an off-topic thing. Sort of on topic, off topic, because it's golf.
Oh boy.
Do you think he has a better team now, or when he was on his last season with the Rams?
The Rams.
I'm gonna probably go Rams just because the defense was a lot better.
Are we including coaches?
Yeah, I'm including Sean McVay in that.
And the defense.
No question.
The Lions D still below average.
Talent wise, I'm trying to remember the last team he was on with the Rams. That was when they lost, or did they won in Seattle? I'm trying to remember that last season.
There was that they were third. They were third in the NFC West. They didn't make the playoffs. But like here, I'm just like here's some of the players on that roster. I remember
different year. Go ahead.
Was it 2019 or 2020? The last year.
I can't remember when he was traded over. I thought they played the Seahawks in a playoff.
You're right. No, I was thinking of the 2019 year. You're right. It was that Seahawks game.
And they won on the road, didn't they?
Yeah, they won on the road. That was his most recent. That was the end of his time in LA.
Yeah.
Right? He was great in that game too. He was all banged up, and he went in on the road in Seattle and won that game.
Yeah, I bet the Seahawks in that game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
Well, you look at who was on that roster, right? I remember from watching them. Like Cooper Kupp was on that roster. Aaron Donald. That was when like Big Wit was still good. Jalen Ramsey was there. Even like guys like Leonard Floyd's a good player. Darius Williams was a good
Gurley
player.
still on that team, or was Gurley gone by then?
No, Gurley was gone, but Darrell Henderson was okay. But I mean, that was like the Kupp Woods duo for the Rams. Like Goff had so much going for him with a great offensive line, right? That was the last year of the really strong Rams O line.
So this is the question I wanted to get to. How do we expect Goff to do better with a better team a couple years ago and a not so better team this year?
He's improved.
Yeah, I think you're just hoping he's a better quarterback.
He's gotten better. He's in a winnable division.
Like his first year in Detroit. First year in Detroit had ups and downs, but last year he was borderline top 10 quarterback in the league.
They won the last 8 games.
10 to 15.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the season last year, if you were the 49ers and you had the option of playing the Packers, the Lions, or the Seahawks in the first round of the playoffs, I think most Seahawks fans would say that they're probably scared of Aaron Rodgers, but the hottest team was easily the Lions. You did not want a piece of that Detroit team.
No, I mean, to go into Green Bay when Green Bay is playing for something meaningful, you have nothing.
You have nothing
other
than
everything.
pride.
On the road at night, to beat Aaron Rodgers was miraculous.
Yeah, that's what I like about Campbell a lot. I think he's established a great culture there because you saw all those players were jacked up to win that game, and it meant nothing for the playoffs.
This is what I'm saying now. There's all this talk in the Lions, and now if you come out here and there's a world where Jared Goff stinks and you go 7-10, they're hopeless forever.
Yeah. All right, so Ziggy wins round 1. There are 2 rounds to this. So
there's 2 rounds, baby.
Don't go crazy.
So there's 2 conferences.
Don't go crazy throwing Ziggy his flowers just yet. We have the AFC North. And first up in the AFC North, Jack again, representing a team he is very familiar with. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
A team that I hate.
Zach,
let me know when the 6 seconds on the clock. I need a 10-second also.
You want a 10-second? Are you sure? Yeah. I mean, you're pretty on the wire.
I'm positive.
All right.
Positive.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
LJ all day. Lamar Jackson, my man. The Baltimore Ravens have had some teams in prior years that have been good enough to go to the Super Bowl. And they haven't. They've lost in the playoffs. Lamar's looked bad in the playoffs. Other years he's been hurt, like last year. There has been some excuses in the eyes of a lot of people, including myself. He hasn't had great success with his arm, but that's because there hasn't been too many receivers to throw to. You've had Mark Andrews. Really nobody else. Your best has been probably Hollywood Brown. But now you bring in Odell. You bring in Zay Flowers, who looks like he's going to be very good first-round pick. You have the weapons. You have a good roster. You have a good team. I'm not handing the Bengals the AFC North right away. This is a team in Baltimore who has potential to win it and go far and do good things. Lamar, it's all on you.
Yeah, he has to be an MVP again. He has to be an MVP again. There's a lot on the line for Lamar Jackson. All right.
Most important season yet. For
Zach seems to like that. He was nodding throughout it if he wasn't on camera. And that brings us over to Ziggy. who will be representing Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Ziggy's been a little higher on Deshaun than me and you have throughout the offseason, so
I think stinks.
I'm excited to see what you have to say. Why is he under the most pressure, Mr. Ziegler?
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Here's the fact. The time has come for Deshaun Watson and the Browns, right? He finally has to put up or shut up. He played a few games last year and looked horrendous. This team has won one playoff game in Pittsburgh and otherwise been miserable for who knows how long at home against Pittsburgh, excuse me. But like, if you look at Deshaun Watson, your football legacy is on the line in more ways than one. If this doesn't work out, if he's bad and the Browns basically have to move on from him, he will top the list of worst trades in NFL history, right? 3 first-round picks, $230 million. All of these guys have been paid, so the money's kind of irrelevant. But the most guaranteed money for a quarterback ever. Just to be terrible, that would be devastating. So if Deshaun Watson wants to be remembered as anything other than a bust and the biggest, most disappointing QB in Browns history, and that's saying something, he needs to get it together and play well this year.
All right. There you go. Deshaun Watson and the Browns.
Good stuff.
And I will be taking on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe Burrow.
I can't roll my R's. I always wanted to roll my R's.
It's cold in here. Yes.
All right, Zach, tell me when.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
The ultimate message with Joe Burrow is that success is relative. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Success. Probably an AFC championship game. It's a good season for them. The Browns get to the playoffs, maybe a divisional round. For Joe Burrow, it's not that. It's winning the Super Bowl. And just to get there, he has to win arguably the toughest division in the NFL. And that only gives him the opportunity to then take down Mahomes or Josh Allen. That's who Joe Burrow is compared to. The very best in the game. So he has to go on the road sometimes. He has, like, throughout the season, Joe Burrow has to be not good, not great, but elite. The very best. Top 3 quarterback in the league. For the Bengals have a chance. Without him, they're nothing. It's hard to get back to Super Bowls. And that's the standard for Joe Burrow now. Aaron Rodgers has been to 1. Drew Brees has only been to 1. Joe Burrow, he got there early in his career, but to get back there and have that be the standard every single season, that's the success rate for him. So I just think that pressure level is higher than Deshaun Watson or Lamar, the rate of success.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You can get bonus points for that.
Maybe get bonus points. Zach likes buzzer beaters.
He does like buzzer beaters. You saw in the first round.
All right, Zach. So you had what I would say three very convincing arguments from Jack, Ziggy, and myself. Yeah. Ziggy won the first one. Does he go
does he,
2 for
does 2?
He two-peat?
Does he two-peat?
I mean, we've never seen that before on the show.
We might, though. You never know. It's pretty convincing by Ziggy.
All right.
So
we'll give a little drum roll
for you.
Please.
I do have to pick, in this case, as the worst argument, Paul Farrington.
The worst?
Well, the worst argument.
Oh, come on. I thought that was good. I thought it was good.
Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Now
but in terms of finding a route for pressure for Joe Burrow,
Lamar's never been there.
That's why he's under pressure, wouldn't you say?
He's been there. He's one of the greats. He's good.
Was that a bad argument for pressure? Ziggy, was that a bad argument?
It was the worst of the 3. Was it a bad argument? No, because in fact he's under a lot of pressure. But it was the worst of the 3.
All right.
Okay.
Who now we're down to 2.
We can't let Ziggy 2-feet here.
F you, man. Well, yeah, it's on you now.
Whoa, easy there.
I'm saying F you. Man.
I know. Easy there. Easy there.
All right, it's on you to take him down.
All right. With the second worst, Ziggy.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Javaris, and Lamar.
Now we're gonna have to walk around your guys' houses and see the trophies, and
I might be a Ravens fan now, low key.
Maybe
this is a nice win.
Prove you're right. Okay, so there you go. The most pressure, the winner of the first argument, Ziggy with Justin Fields, and Jack with Lamar Jackson in the AFC.
It's also
North.
A contract year for having just got paid year for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No, hey.
It is the literal opposite of the contract year.
I know.
It's the opposite of a contract year.
You know what I was trying to say.
But yeah, he has to prove his worth. On
yeah, right, exactly.
Maybe. I mean, he got the money.
He might be under more pressure if it was a contract year, of course. But
yeah,
we'll say it now after the fact.
I mean, he was on a contract last year and he didn't play half the season.
You got the
and still got the money.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so why don't we move on now? We'll wrap up today's show with the fantasy draft recap. Again, me, Jack, and Zach are all in the same league. We had our fantasy football draft. I haven't won in a decade.
I haven't won ever.
I haven't won in a decade. Jack, trophyless.
No, I'm actually one of the worst in our league.
You know that you can see now on ESPN the rivalries, and between me and you, you're 0-5 all time.
I'm having horrible.
The last time we played was a 60-point win for me.
I think ever since our league switched to 12, so the last 8 years, my average finish is like 10th place.
So we're just going to do the first 5 rounds here, and Ziggy will basically take a look at the round and say, he'll probably give a quick reaction to each of our picks and then say who he thought was the best pick, and maybe if he really feels negatively about one of them, the worst pick of the round. And we're doing 5 rounds because I feel personally like you can't win your fantasy football league in the draft, but you can certainly lose it.
I just won in the first 5 rounds.
The first 5 rounds are the most important to me.
I won in the first 5 rounds.
Well, let's see. Let's see. And again, you'll have to decide at home. But Zach, I mean, people are really.
Can I put my strategy out before I just
Sure.
get
No.
roasted?
Explain to me what you were thinking, because I really want to know after seeing this
Tell
draft.
Professor what's going through your
I
head.
wanted to go the zero RB strat this year. That's where I wanted to go. And
Ziggy hates that. Ziggy hates.
I know Ziggy hates that,
strategy.
but at the one position,
it's a good strategy, but it's gone mainstream.
Hold on here. Now we'll get into this because, to be fair to Zach, he had a couple players he really liked and he went after them. We thought it was early.
Guess what's Jefferson? He could score 40
we'll
points
see.
a week.
We'll see. All right,
So,
let's get into this here. Do you have the graphic for round one up?
I just revealed.
what do you think?
I mean, you're the best in the game for a reason.
Yeah.
Round one, we start off. So team names: Zach is Land of Misfits, Jack is Pickett and Flickett. And
As longtime viewers might expect.
Yeah, and I am
like a booger.
Hurricane Blasters. I'm the highlighted pick.
Paul hasn't changed his name in 10 years.
I put in an auto name generator like 10 years ago, and
It's only won one
Blasters
championship.
is what came out.
Ziggy, do you
It's
like
not a bad name.
Do you like Pickett and Flickett?
It's a very solid name.
Yeah,
Right.
that's good.
I feel a little weird naming my team after a player that's not on my team,
Oh no,
but it works.
He
I have
has
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett.
I have Pickett as my backup quarterback.
But
Okay,
here we
that
go. All
works.
right, let's get into
Ziggy, you want to
this.
know why mine is called the Land of Misfits? Do you think you can
Not
guess
really.
why? Bro, it's the greatest ever.
Well, go ahead.
I am
Tell
Mr.
him.
Waiver Wire,
He is great on the
and
waiver
I just
wire.
make the craziest teams off the waiver wire, and I just call them the Land of Misfits.
You're not helping your cause here for draft success.
You're right. But I did
Zach is
draft a good
horrible
team
the
this
first 2
year.
rounds, but he's a waiver wire master. Okay,
That's
let's
wins
get into
leagues.
this.
It's wins leagues.
So, round one, first pick, Zach takes Justin Jefferson.
Yes,
Then
sir.
it goes Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill. That's your top 5. Pick 6, Bijan Robinson. At 7, Jack takes Nick Chubb, which was one of the question marks. Is he worth that pick that early, Nick
People
Chubb?
disliked it.
8, Saquon Barkley. 9, Cooper Kupp. Travis Kelce fell to me at 10. 11, Derrick Henry. And 12, Tony Pollard. When you look at that, Ziggy, what's your instant reaction? He
So-
looks disappointed.
I think this is a pretty standard first round with one exception. Travis Kelce slipped really far. Way too far, in my opinion. I mean, you look at the positional value that you're getting from Travis Kelce.
Hell of a pick. It's a hell of a pick.
Thank you.
Like the difference between Travis Kelce and even the number 2 or 3 tight end is going to be 70 or 80 points. It's the same difference between what last year was Jamar Chase and Cortland Sutton.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you're getting
That's
a
a
wide
tight end
receiver
too.
one.
Well, where do you think
Yeah, yeah,
Travis
that's what
Kelce belongs here? After which player would you slot him in?
Where's your cutoff?
I wouldn't take him later than 6.
Okay. So if you were Jack at 7, you probably would have gone Kelce.
Like you would go Kelce over Chubb.
I
Seven.
probably would. Now I get why you went Chubb, right? He's got huge upside. He's an exciting player. I really like that pick. But Travis Kelce, I think, is the best pick of the round. Otherwise, I don't really have any complaints.
Cooper Kupp sliding to 9, maybe?
Cooper Kupp slides to 9, but I'm okay with that for the following reason. You're just taking a lot of risk, right? Stafford has struggled with injuries. The Rams' offensive line is going to be bad, probably the worst in the league. You just don't he'll get targets until Stafford goes down, but Kupp could just as easily get hurt.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to worry
You brought up
about.
a great point that people haven't been mentioning because everyone gets caught up with Cooper Kupp. 19 targets a game last year, or 19 targets in a game last season, averaging 23 points. It's like he's amazing and could be the 1-1 if you were to guarantee his health. But it's not just his health. It's also Matthew Stafford, who both of them are battling injuries. Kupp already banged up in training camp. So there's a reason he falls. I thought it might be a little far, but yeah, in this draft too, our league has generally been running back heavy. So I get the pick at Chubb there.
Yeah, I figured too, Chubb without Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
I
could
think
be
he's
really, really good.
I think it's a clear-cut first-round pick.
Okay, so there you go, first round. Coming back in the second round now, we're snake draft, half PPR. Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. I took CD Lamb. Josh Jacobs goes 4th in the second round. A.J. Brown, Jack then takes Jalen Waddle right before Amon-Ra St. Brown and Garrett Wilson. That's one that we're questioning, but you like Waddle.
That's horrendous.
The 9th pick in the 2nd round, Jonathan Taylor. I'm also not huge on Taylor. I'm scared of Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's iffy. He's question mark.
10, Chris Olave. 11, Devontae Smith. And then Zach surprises us all by going Deebo Samuel with the last pick of the 2nd round. Ziggy, any really bad picks or really good picks
Took
in this
him
round?
right at my
Wait,
wild.
I don't want him to talk about Debo yet till he sees the 3rd round.
Well, how about...
Because I want him to see who would he have chosen in the 3rd round over Debo.
Okay.
Well, we can talk about that. Here's the really good pick. I'll be positive.
We'll do a little bit of both.
I really like the Jalen Waddle pick, and I'll tell you why. I think this is just a great pick from Jack.
So do I. So do I.
Because here's the thing. Last year, unless things go really south, it was about as bad as it was going to get for the Dolphins offense, right? Tua was in and out of games. Tyreek Hill was going crazy. Like, it was as bad as it was going to get for Jalen Waddle, and he put up 220 points, finished 7th among wide receivers. That would have been good enough for 7th among running backs. Like, he just had an incredible season last year, right? One of the top 14 or 15 players. And if Tua stays healthy, I get that it's not a guarantee, but if he stays healthy, it goes up. And if Tua gets hurt, it doesn't go down. Waddle always produces.
You would take him over Amon-Ra and over Garrett Wilson.
Look, as I said, last year, I think was about as bad as it gets for Waddle. He outperformed Amon-Ra St. Brown. Garrett Wilson, I think you're getting upside. It's a very good pick. But I just love what you're getting in Jalen Waddle. He's good.
Ziggy's got to be all excited.
Wow, I mean,
I think I got a league winner.
So a minute ago, I read the pick and you said, "Oh, that was a horrible pick," and now you're saying league winner.
Now I'm back on board because I picked him for a reason. And Ziggy just.
I was debating CeeDee Lamb or Garrett Wilson, so I was surprised when you went Waddle. Again, he did have a great season.
Hey, guess who?
Like, here's the thing.
You know who's? Oh, go ahead, Ziggy. Go ahead. You got
Waddle was boom or bust. There's no question about it, and he had some bad weeks. But his good weeks are better than basically anyone except Justin Jefferson. Actually, that's not true. His best week was better than Justin Jefferson's best.
I think Garrett Wilson's going to be really good.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. We can come back to this in week 17.
All right, get the cameras rolling.
That Jalen Waddle will have a better fantasy season than his teammate, Tyreek Hill.
Oh.
You know who Tua played college ball with? It wasn't Tyreek Hill. He's throwing his buddy over there in Jalen Waddle. He's throwing his buddy. Big things coming. I'm back on board. Thank you, Ziggy. Thank you.
Okay.
You got to believe.
Ziggy, round 2, the rest of it. Any before we get to Zach's pick, any other pick that you really like or question mark? Did you like Jonathan Taylor there in the late 2nd round?
I think Jonathan Taylor's a great pick there. He was hurt last year, but there's not a history of injury. The Colts offensive line should improve. Even if he gets traded, wherever he gets traded, he'll be the number 1 guy. You know, you worry a little bit about him getting traded to a situation where he's not the clear-cut star. But I think there's no question he produces. And we were talking like the running backs at the end of that 1st round, or the end of the 2nd round, excuse me. There's a reason there's just not a lot of running backs there. Mm-hmm. There aren't many players you can pick who are giving you a lot of upside. Jonathan Taylor is that guy. Right, last year he was the 1-1 for a great reason. I expect him to produce this year.
Okay, and that'll bring us down to Zach with Deebo. Do you like that? And now look, we can also should we go to round 3 right now, Zach?
Let's just see it. Let's see round 3. I'll
you can do both. You can do both. So Zach has Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, and then Calvin Ridley. So he did go with the 0 RB strategy. And I have to say, given the draft that we had, it wasn't a crazy philosophy. But do you like those picks? Do you like Deebo and Ridley that early, Ziggy?
I do like Ridley that early. I worry a little bit about Deebo. Why do I worry about Deebo? Here's the thing about Deebo Samuel, right? And why I wouldn't pick him in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round. Okay, we get the nice little cut to Zach. But here's the thing. There's a lot of target competition. There's a lot of injury history. There are quarterback questions. And that's just not what you want to see out of your pick at pick 24.
It's not.
Right? What do you want to see out of 24?
It's a horrible pick.
I want to see a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, who we know is going to be feasting.
Oh.
I want to see a guy like Joe Mixon.
I wonder who has him.
If you're not happy about that, you can take a quarterback, right? A guy like Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, who you know is going to produce.
It's like anything other than what Zach did.
I like the Ridley pick, right? Ridley, I think he brings a lot of upside. He'll get a lot of targets. I mean, you look at the lines right now, it's 60 receptions, 900 yards. Smash the overs on both of those. And I get what Debo can do with the ball in his hands. But I worry that last year will be closer to Debo Samuel than his best year in 2020.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Wait, can I rebuttal real quick?
No, I one question for Ziggy,
crazy.
then I want your rebuttal.
Yeah.
If you were picking for Zach in that situation, you would take Ridley and Jahmyr Gibbs?
I would take DK was on the board. I'd take him. Who else would I take? I would take Mahomes. I'd take T. Higgins. I'd take Mark Andrews. I'd probably take Najee. Heck, I might take Amari Cooper.
Pretty much everyone's on the board. So
Ziggy just says it wasn't even strategy related. Okay.
Obviously, Debo obviously didn't hear. Obviously, he didn't hear the story that Kyle Shanahan was getting, right?
Can you are you on camera right now?
I'm not on camera.
Oh, please throw yourself.
Put yourself on.
Oh yeah. Obviously, Ziggy didn't hear what Debo was doing all year. Debo's the best he's ever felt this year. He was sending pictures. No, he was sending pictures.
Wait,
to Kyle Shanahan shirtless. He looked jacked out of his mind.
Shirtless pics.
Yeah, he was shirtless pics.
Are you
Zach?
Are you telling me that in training camp, Debo Samuel is in the best shape of his career?
No.
In training camp?
No. He said all the workout he did this year, he's in the best shape he's been.
He vowed a better season.
He vowed a way better season, and I'm ready for it. Ziggy,
a guy in training camp saying he's in the best shape of his life means nothing.
I've never heard that.
This was before training camp, big guy. Before training camp.
That's worse.
It's not worse. It's better. That's mental fortitude.
Okay, so
I have no doubt he's
Debo.
working hard.
You believe Debo Samuel?
Oh, I believe it. We're gonna come back to this.
Shirtless pics, is that what convinced you?
Yeah, bro, I'm shirtless all the time.
Do you know week 1,
We're like
Zach will
brothers.
lose like 112 to 35. We'll all make fun of him. And then
then
he'll go nuts.
It'll be something absurd. There'll be some like Chiefs running back or something. Who's
That
like
he picks up,
like Pacheco and McCann. They'll all get hurt.
I bet you. Who does San Fran play? Steelers first.
Oh, we're gonna bottle him right up.
I bet you Debo puts up. I'll say 70 yards and a touchdown on him.
I don't think this will happen.
No shot.
Like straightforward, but I will say this. I looked at it. I did the math. I looked at my spreadsheet. I would take every single player drafted in the third round before I'd take Debo Samuel. And I own Debo Samuel in fantasy.
Ziggy, I agree.
Okay, so Ziggy, you look at the rest of round 3 here. Any picks that you really like? Sounds like you like a certain pick made by a certain someone.
I like the Calvin Ridley pick. I think that's a solid pick.
Sir.
But I love the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, and I will tell you why.
Oh, that's
every single person that you talk to.
Prove it.
Yeah, I mean, every single one, right? What is everybody saying? Bijan. And I get it. Bijan's a highly talented player, drafted early in the first round, showed great running ability in college, showed great receiving ability in college. You got some worries about competition, but he's so much more talented than everyone around him. He's in an offense that should feature him or at least run the ball a lot. A quarterback who will want to throw him the ball. There's a lot to be excited about Bijan. Every single thing I just said applies to Jahmyr Gibbs. And yet Jahmyr Gibbs is going 2, sometimes even 3 full rounds later. I don't get it. He's going to be the featured guy in Detroit. He's going to get a bunch of receptions. He's going to run the ball a bunch. He's going to be in an explosive offense, better than the Falcons. I don't see any reason not to be taking this guy pretty early in the third round unless you have a quarterback fetish.
I don't know. I'm honestly feeling the best season of his career for David Montgomery.
David Montgomery will get carries in Detroit. Like he's absolutely part of the equation. What?
Isn't he splitting?
I can see it being split, but
it probably will. But
Jahmyr Gibbs will be on the field all the time.
I don't think that you draft a running back in the top 15 to have him not be your.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see
one.
A situation where David Montgomery is on the field and Jahmyr Gibbs is never plays when he's on. I'm sure they'll be able to split him out wide. That's the other factor to Jahmyr Gibbs.
You know what this gives me?
Catch the ball.
This gives me like a little AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones vibe.
A little bit.
Yeah, like you have Aaron Jones, your pass catching back, then you got your big back and AJ Dillon and David Montgomery.
I think they're both going to have really good years. David Montgomery's a solid pickup later in the draft. Like David Montgomery's a good running back.
I agree.
But here's the thing, right? Like if Jahmyr Gibbs is playing the Aaron Jones role last year, Aaron Jones was the RB9.
It sounds like a brilliant selection.
I like it a lot.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs, what really separates him from a lot of others in a half PPR too will be his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, no, that's it. Ziggy, on the spot here, I have 2 more questions for you. On the spot, between Gibbs, Najee, Mixon, ETN, see those guys on the board? Ramondre Stevenson went in the 4th round. How do you rank those 5? Do you have it off the top of your head, how you would rank those if you're drafting?
So I can think through this now. I think Mixon's the clear one.
Mm-hmm.
He's a featured back in a great offense. I think that ETN, actually, no, I think Gibbs is probably number 2 for me because of the receiving upside. I probably have Ramondre at 3. I'm not super worried about Zeke. I think Zeke is not very good. I think I have Najee at 4. And then I've got ETN at 5. But those last 3...
You knew I had ETN.
That was it. And then...
no, I'm pretty high on ETN. Those last 3, honestly, could go either way for me. The only pick I'm really confident in is Mixon at 1. I think people are systematically undervalued.
I missed Aaron Jones in there. Is he in the top half of those?
Aaron Jones is in that I don't know tier of the other last 3 guys. You know, like when you start talking about RB, like 12 to 15, I mean, look at last year, right? The difference between RB 12 and RB 15 was 20 points.
Yep.
There's just not a lot of differentiation when you get down to those guys. They'll all, I think, probably end up somewhere around there.
The ironic thing is I'd probably rank on that list ETN 2nd. But the person who's first, I took ETN over. Like I think Mixon is also number 1, and I took ETN over him.
Bengal. I understand not taking certain players, but
yeah, I already had Chubb.
I guess you did wind up with Burrow too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So quarterbacks went round 3. You had Hurts, then Mahomes, then Allen. I think that's a fine round to take a quarterback, one of those 3.
Yeah, but that's the wrong order.
Yes, personally, I know you're huge on Mahomes. I like Josh Allen, but I wouldn't take Hurts with the first selection there. But again, those 3 quarterbacks, round 3, that's where we've seen them fall. If you're really bullish on one of them, I'm fine. I think we're all fine going to get one there.
There's only one you're entitled to be bullish about.
Mahomes.
Mahomes is the only quarterback who should ever go first in a fantasy draft. There's no alternative.
He's great. He led all quarterbacks last season. Let's go to round 4 here. We'll be a little quicker on round 4 and 5. Round 4 was Ramondre Stevenson, Alvin Kamara, which I have no idea what's going on with Kamara. That's our friend Brendan.
Yeah, poor Paladino was suspended. I don't know.
You never know. I took Keenan Allen with the 3rd pick of the 4th round. Damian Pierce, Jerry Jeudy. Jack then takes Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson goes next. Kenneth Walker, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Alexander Madison. And that brings us back to Zach, who went with James Conner as his RB1 for the season. Zach, Ziggy, any picks you love, any picks you hate? I mean, Jack is laughing at Zach right now.
It's not a pick you guys made, but I think my favorite pick in this round is Amari Cooper. You're looking at a guy who's a clear-cut wide receiver 1 in an offense that should have an improved Deshaun Watson that's going to want to throw the ball a lot. It's just a fact that I think he's going to get a lot of targets. And the fact that he's going between DeAndre Hopkins or right before DeAndre Hopkins, I think is crazy.
I like Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper doesn't excite me too much.
Who's Amari Cooper?
No, but you're not looking in this round. You're not looking for an exciting player. You're looking for one who will produce. Yeah, why is Jerry Jeudy going here? What's he gonna do?
Well, this was also before Jeudy got hurt. Just to be fair.
Yeah, but even before Jeudy gets hurt, right? You're taking a guy who's a borderline wide receiver 1 in a worse offense that's going to run the ball more.
Yeah, that's our friend David. So that's explains.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably one of the only 2 people worse than me.
Do you like Burrow over Lamar?
No, but I don't particularly like it. I like the Lamar rushing upside, but those are fine.
Okay.
These are the quarterbacks you can justify taking in round 4.
Okay.
I think after Lamar, there's a big drop off, and you don't want to touch anymore.
Yes. There's the tiers. It's the
I had to get the guy.
Burrow and Lamar, and then it falls.
Well, then pick it.
And I just want to say, I mentioned this before, but Alexander Madison, were you trying to get him, Zach?
Yeah, he was going to be my pick. It was going to be him and Connor.
Yeah, if you go with the no RB strategy, I really like Alexander Madison to fill in. Obviously, he wouldn't be an ideal number 1, but if he is your 1, there's 300 touches that are up for grabs with Dalvin Cook gone. And Alexander Madison has come into that offense before and been better than serviceable. He could be looking at a very solid season. Sneaky RB1 upside for him.
I regret taking Burrow over Madison there, I think.
Really?
Because I could have had Etienne, Madison, and Chubb.
It's nice having, though, the star quarterback, because you're going to get great numbers from Burrow. But Madison there in the 4th round, when people are looking for an RB2 or maybe an RB1 if you go Zach's route, I really like him. I like him more than Connor.
I love that pick.
Guys. Okay, and to wrap it up, round 5, Zach then goes Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, Rashad White, Justin Fields, Deontay Johnson, Christian Watson was the 6th pick of the round. DJ Moore, nice, great value for Jack, in my opinion. Justin Herbert goes, Chris Godwin. I finally get my RB2 with J.K. Dobbins at 10. Dak Prescott and Mike Evans. Ziggy, when you look over this round, did Jack get the best pick with DJ Moore? Because a lot of people felt that he had an excellent selection.
You guys are outrageously low on Breece Hall.
Oh.
I said it before, I'll say it again. I think Breece Hall is a borderline RB1 this year. I get
October, by when he starts playing, or you mean?
Yeah, when he starts playing. I think he will finish as a borderline RB1. Like, here's the thing people are forgetting about Breece Hall. Last year, among running backs, he led the league in air yards. Not air yards per game. Not air yards per route run. Total air yards. Playing like 6 games. This guy produced with Zach Wilson. Maybe the worst quarterback or the worst offense the NFL has seen since like the 60s.
And he carried that offense when he played. He was
and now it's Rodgers.
I think he was the RB6.
Yeah, he's going to play, and he's going to play well. So I think that Breece Hall is a great pick. He's way better than Poopgums, who's like coming off blowing out his entire knee. He might never be good in the NFL again, which makes me really sad to say. I was a huge Javonte fan.
Oh my God.
I just got like who he was talking about. Well, he was my first round pick.
The stupidest thing.
He was my first round pick last year.
Poor Zach.
Crazy.
I was so high on him.
Zach.
This is crazy.
Man, Zach, what a horrible 5.
I forgot Zach had Williams. Ziggy's just crapping on Deebo Samuel and Javonte Williams.
That's crazy.
But I will say this.
Okay,
I will say
Connor
this.
as his RB1.
He's got Connor. That's right.
Look, Javonte Williams is going to be a top 5 running back by the end of the season. Just putting it out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Top 5.
Zach got the best player in football, and then just was like, all right, let's see how bad this team is.
Let's see how bad this
I do want to know.
This is
right?
crazy. No. Ziggy, before you talk, this is nuts. This is nuts.
It's like you just had Vontae Poopums in the 5th round.
No, this is incredible that you guys think it's this bad.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. But
I'm not gonna say anything else.
No.
I'm just gonna say this.
We'll say
This is a joke, Ross.
yeah,
This is incredible, bro. I hope I win the league this year, and
Yeah, it'd be a miracle.
I'll be the one that pepper sprays you.
Yeah.
I will personally pepper spray you.
Man,
Look, guys, I'm just gonna say this. David Barsimian, former host of the show, right?
Oh,
he gets a little respect. Picking Deontay Johnson before DJ Moore, Christian Watson deserves the capital punishment.
Yes. I do not
like Deontay Johnson will improve.
That's Rotundo.
That is Rotundo. Another former.
That's
another former.
So it makes sense. That makes sense.
But one thing on
I like
Deontay
Johnson.
I would go Watson and DJ Moore over him, but he had no touchdowns last year.
No, Johnson will be targeted so many times.
He gets a million targets. You have to think that his touchdowns will go back up because he literally can't get lower. I like Deontay Johnson a lot.
I like Johnson too.
I just look at Zach's team and it's repulsive.
It's repulsive. Yeah, it's repulsive.
Let me give Ziggy the rest of my team.
Sure. All right. So that's the end.
Well, let's wrap up. Let's see the team. Let's see the team.
Let's wrap up. Zach, go ahead. Can you read off your team?
Yeah, hopefully if it loads. Well, I already know the rest of my
read
team.
his team off air.
So who do I get? 5.
We'll end with this.
My tight end's Juwan Johnson.
Go from quarterback. Go from the top. Go from the top. Your
Okay,
quarterback.
You're tight end. Is that supposed to impress me? He's got Juwan Johnson.
You gotta think there's value somewhere, but there's not.
There's not.
Go from quarterback.
Okay, so I have Watson, my starter. Okay. Then I got James Conner, Javonte Williams, Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuels, Juwan Johnson, Calvin Ridley, Jets defense, Boswell, my kicker. Now my bench pretty solid. Drake London, Michael Thomas.
Who?
What?
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Who? When was the last time he played an NFL game?
Last year. He played 3 games and then got hurt.
London, Thomas.
Go Zach, move.
Yeah, move.
Jamal Williams.
I like the first 3 weeks. He'll be great. He should actually be in your lineup for the first 3
Yeah,
weeks.
he should. Devin Singletary.
So we pour one out for that one. We pour one out for that one.
So you have Jamal Williams will be in there for the first 3 weeks over Javonte. Then Javonte comes in. Your roster's like,
Then we got
You
Adam
might
Thielen.
only have one player who finishes, excluding Deshaun Watson. You might only have one player who finishes in the top 12 at their position.
I do have Greg Dolch.
Oh, the Broncos.
The
tight end?
Broncos tight end.
Chris Boswell, I'm telling you, will win you some weeks.
Again, here's the thing.
He'll
though.
drain a 55
Here's
yard.
the thing for Zach. Zach has these horrible drafts, and they look horrible. But then a lot of times, his masterfulness on the waiver wire.
Yeah, that's what.
As long as a couple, like, look, if Debo and Ridley are okay.
I just looked at Paul's team. Paul might be the worst I've ever seen in my life.
All right. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do
Fair.
this.
I mean, wait, no. I would like you to read it real quick because it is not
All right. Paul's starting quarterback, Geno Smith.
number 5 quarterback last season in the
Geno
13th
Smith.
round.
Then he's got Jahmyr Gibbs. Then he's got Dobbins, who's going to get hurt 2 seconds in. He's going to be limping off the field.
You know who has Gus the Bus? This guy.
Then he's got CD. And then he's got Keenan Allen, who can't stay on the field either. So Paul's got injury-ridden.
He's loving this deal. He's
Yeah, I
partying.
know. Ziggy's going to party all day. Then he's got Travis Kelce.
The best tight end.
Oh, game over.
The way he said Travis Kelsey.
It's like
he's just got the
he
best
goes-
player
he
in
goes,
the position.
Juwan Johnson, and then he goes Travis Kelce.
And then he's got hurt Terry McLaurin already. Turf toe.
Smells like 3 wide receiver ones and the best tight end in football. My receivers are better than yours, and you took 3 of the first 25 picks.
Keenan Allen hasn't been good in years.
He's wide receiver 6 when he played.
I didn't like the Keenan Allen pick either.
wide receiver 6. All right,
He's gonna be wide
that'll
receiver
wrap it
0
up.
after all this.
That'll wrap up this show. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment. If you like some of our picks, leave a comment. If you hate some of our picks, leave a comment. We'd be much appreciated here.
Make sure to say that my team's the best out of all of these.
Yeah, let us know who has a better team, me or Zach.
People are wondering what my team looks like.
Oh, we'll have to find out. We could save that.
I think it's the best out of the 3.
We will be back on Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have a very special guest joining us. We'll have another guest on the show, it's been a little while since Ben Stevens and that electric night back in March, but now we have. It was an electric night back in March.
Real electric night. That was a great night.
Go watch that March Madness preview. I mean, my goodness, if you're bored,
One of our better shows. That was awesome.
Great show. I mean, the knowledge that was being, it was great. We could even have a better guest though. Maybe. We'll have to figure that out. You'll have to be the judge of that. All right, so we'll be back on Thursday. Thanks again for listening. I thought there was one more thing that I wanted to say coming up. Maybe it's just that the season's right around the corner. Can't wait for it to start. Again, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms at Paul Farrington Show, and chasing down 1,000. We are almost there. See you on Thursday. Peace.